Titus Jackman. I'm from Kent. Back in the 60s, we had mayor's courts in Kent that were kind of messed up, hearing cases without legal knowledge. And that came to my attention that we ought to do something about it. And then later Mayor John Carson became mayor. He was also a commissioner later on. But his court became really burdened with cases. And so I was city solicitor at about that time, and I took it upon myself to start discussing with the Kent attorneys if they wanted a Kent municipal court. And of course they did. And the idea was to take the western 5 townships from Aurora, there were no cities except Kent, Aurora through Suffield, and merge them into a Kent municipal court. So we started pushing on that. I went to all the trustee meetings, got them on board, got all the western township attorneys on board, and we raised quite a bit of commotion to get a Kent municipal court, which would be separate and distinct from the Ravenna court, which had Ravenna and other county jurisdiction. So we went on with that and tried to press the thing with our state representative, Joe Kainrad at the time. And of course the Ravenna attorneys opposed it vehemently. They didn't want to come to Kent. Well, of course we didn't want to go to Ravenna for very small matters, which were costly for the clients and not very productive for the Kent attorneys. So somewhere along the line it got discussed, and I believe that Judge France got involved somewhere along the line, and Joe also. They decided that wouldn't it be better to have a Portage County court, which is the first of its kind, a complete county court, with 2 branches, one in Ravenna and one in Kent. Well, we thought that would be all right as long as we had a court. And so we went on down to Columbus with Joe and made our presentation. It was a lot of work. It wasn't easy. It was a lot of work to get that accomplished. You have to go to the House Judiciary Committee, the Senate Judiciary Committee, which, by the way, let me get off the subject a little bit. It occurs to me if this location gets moved from Kent and it gets down to Columbus, there will be an awful lot of opposition against it, and I think the opponents would be more inclined to move for a separate Kent court again, which would be very counterproductive and very expensive. In a separate court, you have to have separate elections, which you do now. You have to have separate clerks, separate staff. It costs money. The way it's set up now, the clerkship clerkship covers both the common pleas courts, appellate, and also now the muni court, which saves some money. Okay, Joe, go ahead.
If you don't mind, I'm going to take a little different approach to this. My question is, why are we having this meeting? This court was set up in the late 1960s. John Kennedy was president at the time. It has worked fine ever since, with the branch in Kent, the branch in Ravenna, with the ability to expand into the future into other areas without splitting the county into various separate districts. You understand that? That's the purpose of it. It's kind of a model throughout the state. A lot of them have trouble getting to it, although they'd like to, because they're split into these small fractions and nobody wants to give up their jurisdiction. You follow me what I'm saying? Now, I made a few notes when I was considering coming up here. And I'd say I'm somewhat puzzled about why we're here. First of all, from what I gather out there, there's not a whole lot of argument that a new facility is needed in Kent. It has outlived its usefulness, and you need a facility that's going to be good for the next at least 50 years. The court structure has been fine. There's been no chance or no reason to try to change it from what it was established in 1969. So why are we getting into that? Kent has the support structure necessary for the courts. They have the banks, the hotels, the utilities, post office, restaurants, and so on. Like I mentioned in the paper, where people are going to go to the restaurant out here in Shaler'sville, nice area and all that, but they have to eat in county jail. As far as I can understand, the court people want to be in Kent. Kent wants them to be there. It's good for business, and it's a good location where the people are. That's the people's court. Now, I also understand that the judges have established a fund to fund the construction of that building and buy the property. So this is being funded by the users of the court. Now, what is it? So much on each court cost? It's been set aside, and they have, what, $2.5 million there now? All right, it's being funded by the users. It won't be funded by taxpayers. So why not use it? Now, at present, you're talking about the value of property. Property values are now down. We all know that. Now's the time to buy the property. Interest is down. Now's the time to finance that project. Construction jobs are necessary, and they add to the business. So now's the time to construct. And now's the time to use it as you pay for it. As I say, I don't know exactly why we're here, and that's all I got to say about it.